face to face with a shadow person. I have had a few paranormal experiences in my life, but this is probably the weirdest of the bunch. I'm in my early 40s now, but when this happened, I was 14 and it was the summer of 1995. It was the late afternoon around 4 p.m. and still very light. I stood near the back door in the kitchen of my mom and dad's house. My dog was stood in front of me and I had just put some scraps from my tea in his bowl. Suddenly, he lowered his head, bared his teeth, his hackles stood up, and he growled. He was a wire-haired fox terrier Jack Russell cross, but he was not food protective and was usually very placid and mild, so this was very unusual behavior for him. I stood up straight and noticed my shadow on the wall near the door getting darker until it was so beyond black it was devoid of color. I realized my dog was not protecting his food. He was scared. The shadow then stepped away from the wall as fully a 3D being and was only feet away from me. My dog ran away, but I was frozen with fear. Back then, I was around 5'4", and this thing was the same height as me. It had no facial features and a smooth outline. It had shape and form, but at the same time was so dark that it seemed like a void. It had no eyes that I could see, but I got a sense that it was looking at me. This being and I stood and stared at each other for what felt like 5 minutes, but really must have been mere seconds. I was terrified, and it seemed shocked that I could see it. It then raised its arms up so its hands were above its head, then shot up into the ceiling into a puff of smoke the same color as the being. The smoke dissipated as soon as it had appeared, and I could move again. I had no idea what I had seen, as I had never heard of anything like a living shadow. Also, I didn't know anyone who had seen something like that. At the time, the internet wasn't what it is now, and we didn't even have a computer to access it anyway. I spent many years worrying that I had some kind of mental illness or something. Then, years later, I found a website where other people had written about their experiences with these shadow people. In the past 10 years, I have heard a lot of people talking about them on various podcasts. I don't know what they are, and I'm not going to pretend that I do. All I know is I saw something that I don't understand. Other people in my family have seen this shadow person, but only in glimpses. I have seen another since at a friend's house, and though creepy in comparison, that one was nowhere near as scary.